to be sincere, it has done a lot, because immediately I finished the training, I knew that it was time to move from my former place of work. And I said, running up my CV, I told myself it was time to move. And then even before I got my exam, accreditation and all that, I told myself, you have to, push on your CV and start moving. And immediately my exam came out was one of the things that gave me that push, because the interviewers asked me, I said, yes, I have my AFM, and then they asked me a few things on financial modeling. I was able to answer, and then I got the job. Thank you. Okay, hi, my name is Gloria Odova. I'm a chartered accountant. I work as a tax manager at Ajaari Industries, Ladipo. I joined the company this year in 2024 as the admin tax manager. Okay, so I belong to the ICANN tax platform. So I think it was pasted there last year. So it's something I've been planning to do, but I never had the opportunity and a good platform to train for it. So immediately I saw the post, I just knew this was the opportunity to go out. I wanted to train or get a good training of financial modeling, but I didn't have good information or a good platform to go about the training. So when it was posted on ICANN tax platform, I saw it as a good opportunity to go ahead and train for it. Okay, I expected to, after the training, to be good in my financial modeling skills and all that. During the training, I wasn't so, I expected a physical structure, where you come for the training, but then I saw that everything was done virtual. At first, I was a bit skeptical, but then the short videos that Mr. David was putting up, it was interesting, because anyone that I don't understand, I would just quickly go back, slowly look at them and then get a grip of it before I could go to the next video. So at the time, I got used to it and it started flowing, and then I started getting used to it. So it became very interesting over time.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another webinar by dbrownconsulting. Right, so this webinar is all about exam taking. So if any of you are writing the exam, please, wherever you're watching from, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever, let us know if you're writing the exams. The exams are coming up, well, technically, less than 24 hours, right? So the exams are coming up very, very soon, very shortly. So let me know in the chat. Are you writing the exams? When I say the exams, it's the Financial Modeling Institute's Advanced Financial Modeler exams. That's what we're writing, right? So great. So you're all welcome, and I would like to get our guests into the studio. We have some experts that have actually passed the exams, right? So they've done the exams, they've passed the exams, and they're going to come and talk to us about all the secrets about how they passed, right? All the things they probably did wrong that they quickly corrected so that we don't make those mistakes ourselves, right? So everything here, we're talking about the exams, the Financial Modeling Institute's Advanced Financial Modeler exams, and we're talking about tips and tricks for how you could hopefully pass it without too much stress, right? So that's our session for today. All right. For the back end, let's see people first in the house is Ayorinde, and then we have Marian, and then who else is joining us? We have a full house. In fact, we have a full house. So these are your pros. These are your, how do I call it? I don't call them tech pros. We like call it tech bros. Is it tech bros? They like to call them now. Tech bros. No, not tech bros. Yeah. Please, someone should give me a name that's cool. We're what? Model bros. What are we? So anyway, let's start ladies first, right? So Marian, would you like to introduce yourself just very briefly?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, David, for having me. Can you hear me?
Can hear you clearly. You can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah. So my name is Marian Ajaari, and I'm a trainer, and I also have an accounting firm that offers services to SMEs and medium-sized businesses.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So
Thank
you're
you.
self-employed, is it?
You said what?
You're self-employed. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay. And any modeling thing? I mean, everything. Nobody understands. Okay, why did you do modeling? Can you give us a bit more? I'm trying to. People are trying to guess. Okay, sounds normal.
Okay, all right. So, so first of all, when I consult for SMEs, so what I do is I help them structure their accounting department, right? So companies who want to do things the right way. So I help them structure their accounting department. And most times when these clients come to me, the reason they come is because they always have a goal in mind. So one of the first goals is maybe they want to file for taxes. The second goal is probably because they want to raise capital, either from a bank or from maybe they want to get seed finance somewhere. So what they do is they ask me, oh, okay, Marian, this is my goal. I want to raise finance. And I said, okay, you have to structure your accounting department first. You have to have financial statements. So we start working on that. So when I structure their business and we start preparing financial statements from them, then we can now start doing the financial model that we'll use for capital raise. So maybe that sums it in a nutshell.
Okay, okay. So independent consultants. Then we have Ayorinde.
Yes.
Ayorinde, you want to introduce yourself fully?
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is Ayorinde Andero. I'm a specialist in financial modeling, financial reporting, and audit. I'm the managing partner of Ayorinde Andero and Company, chartered accountants.
Okay, interesting. So you're a chartered accountant. So have Marian, are you also a chartered accountant?
Yes, sir. I'm FCCA. I'm a fellow of ACCA. And I have a master's in finance.
Interesting. Oh, this one's deep finance, deep master, everything finance. And then we have Ayorinde is a thoroughbred auditor that seems to now be entry modeling. We'll talk about how he did that. We have Oladele. Oladele, you're next. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Mr. Brown. My name is Oladele Abimbola. I am an engineer, and currently I'm specializing in energy economics and management. And I just completed my master's degree in February at IFB School, where I focused on upstream project development in oil and gas, then downstream management, as well as electricity management.
Wow. So you're an engineer. And then
Yes.
you're now going into finance. Everything sounds engineering and finance together. So it seems like an interesting combination, right? Okay.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. So you guys did the exams. When did you do the exams? Tell us when you passed your exams. What date? Just give us shout out the period. When did you do it? Let me start with Oladele. Oladele, go ahead.
So I wrote the exam in October 2025, 25th of October 2025. That was when I wrote the exam. And I got the result that I passed in December 2025.
December. It takes a long time to mark the scripts, right? We did it in October, November, December. So everybody takes what the exam is. When you see what the exam is, they're actually building a model from scratch. And then a modeler will have to go through the model. And of course, probably have 1,000 people that the modeler will need to look through. So yeah, so engineer passed, chartered accountant. Let's say Ayorinde, when did you do yours? When did you become a certified or accredited financial modeler?
Exactly. The same goes for me. I wrote my exam in October last year, 2025, and the result came out December, and I passed.
So you're in the same class, so to say, as Oladele? Sort of. We're in the same cohort.
I belong to May 2025 cohort.
Okay. Oladele, which one do you belong to?
Yeah, the May 2025, but I had to take my exam in October as well.
Okay, so you see, they were both in the same class and they didn't know each other. That's the thing about virtual classes. So anyway, but you can see, and the thing is, I'm sure they were also in cohorts, and they're going to tell us, okay, what secrets they had. So Marian, when did you do your exam?
Okay, so I wrote my exam in October also, but I was actually in November 2024 cohort. but I didn't write. I kept on postponing because I was very busy, and that was I had to learn a very hard lesson from always postponing. Yeah, but I wrote in October and then I passed.
Oh wow, wonderful. So postponing. Are you sure you are? See, we're all busy. Is it procrastination or business? Yes, it's procrastination for me.
So I think I had some jitters because I hadn't written exams in a while. I'd been taking courses, but I hadn't written exams. Then I think Excel kind of like, I was just scared of Excel. But I remember that Ian said that even if it does not balance, you will still pass. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. So, but the reason why I was postponing was because I was always working, and that's one key lesson that I learned. So my mentor told me that it's an opportunity cost, that I can't have both, that I will have to give up something for something. So I had to take less work to be able to focus on my exam. So that was one key thing that I had to do. So in case there's anyone listening in here and you're postponing or you're not creating time, you have to create time for the exams and probably practice like 2 hours a day. If you can give it like 2 hours or 1 hour a day, yeah, you'll be able to make it. But if you lump all the lessons, you might not be able to finish, and then you would not feel very prepared for the exam. So sometimes you have to give up something. So
this is very good. So that's the very first step. You need to give up something. So you need to say no to something for you to say yes to passing the AFM exam. That's basically it. You have to say no. Yeah. So that's the first tip for everybody. But what's this AFM exam we're talking about? AFM exam. So let me share my screen. I'll share my screen briefly, and then we can then kind of have an idea what is all this AFM exam about, and give you a quick intro before we now start getting tips around how to pass or whatever. Well, we have our other guest that just jumped in, didn't knock on the door, just entered in like that without knocking. Yeah, so Chidera, please, can you introduce yourself? Tell us also when you did the exam. So introduce yourself and tell us when you did the exam. Go ahead.
Hi, David.
We can hear you. I know we had some network issues. Go ahead. Go ahead. Introduce yourself and tell us about when you did the exam. When did you pass?
My name is Chidera Anusiem. I'm an investment banking analyst at
Chidera's network is very slow. So another thing, let me ask you guys a question. How was network when you were doing your exam? You know it's an online exam. Did you have any network issues, especially those of us in Nigeria, right? Anybody have any issues?
So for me, I had 3 different ISPs on that day. I had 3 different ISPs and everything was charging at the same time. So if one goes off, I'll just have to flip to the other one. That's what I did. I had 3.
But the first one you used, did it work throughout?
The first one I used worked all through.
Can you imagine?
But I recharged 3 for that day.
Wow. Backup on backup.
Backup all right. 2, backup 3.
Ayorinde, what was your experience? Oladele, what was the experience?
Okay, about me, I actually, for the purpose of that exam, I actually bought a MiFi, internet MiFi from MTN. Before then, I've been used to using my hotspot on my phone, but because of that exam, I bought that MiFi, and then I also used my hotspot on my phone as backup. That's what I did. But throughout the exam, I didn't have any network itch at all.
You see, I think it's when you plan that it now works. When you don't plan, it will show you, right? I don't know. It's just the gods somehow. So yeah. So anyway, are we? Oh no, who has dropped off? Okay, Oladele, what was your own experience? Your own internet was fine for you. Everything was fine.
Yes, the internet was fine, but I also had a backup internet just in case anything goes wrong. I had a backup.
Great. Good. So everybody learn you need to have a backup. Even if you're abroad, you need to have a backup too. I'm just saying abroad, it always works well. And I say abroad, outside Africa, right? Okay, great. So what is this financial modeling? What's the academy? So Financial Modeling Institute, Financial Modeling Accreditation Program for Finance and Accounting Professionals. Well, I think maybe I should tell them to remove this because it's not just for finance and accounting professionals. It's for anybody and everybody, actually. All you need is a little bit of basic accounting, basic accounting and basic Excel, and you'll be able to be a financial modeler. But typically, it's finance and accounting professionals that like doing this, right? But you can see an engineer here, right? Mr. Oladele, you're an engineer, aren't you? So yeah, so
Yes, I am.
you see, so you can do it. And there was a lawyer that I know has passed as well, right? So that's cool. Right now, this is promoting awareness, excellence, and discipline in financial modeling globally through our financial world-class accreditation program. So this is how the exams work. There is one foundation, which is not really an exam; it's just the basic stuff for you to know. The real first exam is level 1, Advanced Financial Modeler. And that's what we're talking about, where you need to build a 3-statement model, have to have knowledge and skill around modeling, and finish this in 4 hours, right? 4 hours is the max time you have, right? Now, level 2 is Chartered Financial Modeler, where it is more complex modeling problems that you're solving. Level 3, there's no exam. It is based on all your experience and how you've kind of moved modeling forward as a profession, your leadership and your contributions to the modeling profession. Then you'll be able to get MFM. Right, so these are the accreditations. Now, when you do the exam, what happens is they're going to give you a question. Right, so let me give you a sample. I'm going to use our mock exam as a sample. So they'll give you a question like this, where they'll give you instructions, right? And when they give you instructions, they're going to say, hey, we have a spreadsheet we also gave you. So they'll give you a spreadsheet. Let me show you an example of the spreadsheet. This is an example. This is our mock. That spreadsheet will have historical financials, right? Historical financials for your profit or loss account, your cash flow statement, and your balance sheet. That's all they will give you, these historicals. And then they will now give you instructions. The instructions will be very clear. So they will give you a general idea about what the company is, a case study, the financials of the company, the sales structure of the company, the operating cost structure of the company, capex and depreciation, working capital. Working capital, they don't usually give you. You have to do it yourself. Yeah. You have to use your brain. They like to say, based on the historical data, please make up reasonable assumptions of working capital. Yeah, your own, right? Then the income tax, they'll give you data on that, deferred tax, debt, they'll give you quite a lot of data on debt and equity as well, and then some other information. So with this information, you're supposed to build a full-blown 3-statement model, build out scenario analysis, do detailed schedules, and then have a nice summary sheet, like a dashboard kind of sheet that kind of runs those simulations or those scenarios that you have. Everything, you need to do it in less than 4 hours. So let's talk about time. I'd like to talk, anybody can jump in now. How long did it take? Or just shout out, how long did it take to do the exam? That's first, and then I'll go back to when it was bad and how you made it good. How long did it take you to do the exam? Oladele, how long did it take you?
Okay, so for me, I finished the exam in less than 4 hours, that I had enough time to revise everything. I think in 2 hours, 30 minutes, I was done. Then I was just going through the exam I had done to just cross-check and finish.
Wow. 2.5
So
hours you are done. Was your
yes.
keyboard, was smoke coming out of your keyboard or something? I don't know how, as in,
So I think
finished in 2.5 hours. Wow.
Yes, in 2.5 hours I was done. But before the exam,
don't worry, we'll come to before the exam. Don't worry. Marian,
Okay.
How long did it take you?
So I think I used the 3 hours, 20 minutes, thereabouts. That's for everything, even my checks, my summary, like everything was 3 hours, 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Okay, that's not bad at all. Then, yes, Mr. Ayorinde.
Okay, in my own case, I finished building the model minus the scenarios. Exactly 2 hours, 57 minutes.
You remember this thing. You are really an auditor. You know precise.
Why study? Yes. Exactly 2 hours, 57 minutes. So within 15, 20 minutes thereabouts, so I finished up with other things like scenarios and the summaries. Okay. And I now revise everything to go through everything.
You had time. You are comfortable. You are very comfortable.
Comfortable, very.
So now let's talk about how you got to that state of comfort. As you guys finish this thing in like 3 hours, you're done. You're just chilling and making things nice, making things red and green and blue and beautiful before you left the exam. Now, so tell me, let's start with Mr. Ayorinde. How did you get to that stage? Tell us your journey. Tell us your journey to that stage of full comfort.
In fact, initially it was rough. In summary, I said I belong to May 2025 cohort, and I planned initially to write my exam in July. But about a week to that exam time, nobody needed to tell me that I was not fully prepared. I noticed that I was still spending minimum of 7 hours, between 7 and 9 hours, to finish this the case study.
9 hours to finish the case study.
9 hours. 9 hours. It's between 7 and, in fact, the best I achieved was 7 hours. That's the best. Wow. So I now told myself I would need to reschedule the exam, so I rescheduled. So I got so good. One of us in my accountability hub actually wrote
let me just tell people what accountability hub means. So accountability hub in the Financial Modeling Academy, that's the academy that everybody finished from. Financial Modeling Academy is an academy that is sponsored by the Financial Modeling Institute and D. Brown Consulting to try, and it has a scholarship for Africa, makes it very, very affordable. And in the academy, one of the things we do is that it's an online academy, but we put people in cohorts or study groups, also called accountability hubs. So I think, Ayorinde, you are in an accountability hub, so you can continue from there. Yeah?
Exactly, yes. So a member actually wrote that July, and he passed, luckily. So he immediately finished writing that exam. He was so happy because he was so confident that he would pass. So he now communicated to us on the we have a group chat. So he now told us that please that he has written the exam, that he's happy to share tips how to go about passing the examination. I said that's very good. I contacted him because I was privileged to be the group head, the hub head. So I contacted him and I scheduled a meeting with him, group meeting with him, and so he took us through what it takes and the tips. He gave us tips. It took like an hour plus or so. So all of us, we attended. In fact, we have Mazamon house that day. So, and then me, being somebody that if I didn't know something, I would say it. I'm never ashamed of saying that one. So I told him, everybody was practically laughing at me that day because I told them that I was spending like 9 hours, 8 hours. I couldn't believe him that he said he's finished before 3 hours. I said, is it possible? So he now told us that what we needed to do, and that is what I done, and that's what I actually applied. He said, don't attempt, because I told him the approach I was adopting. That approach was to start from beginning to the end, trying to build the model from the beginning to the end. He said, no, I should not approach it that way. That what he did is to approach it module by module. At the time, pick revenue module, next go to cost of sales, then move on to working capital and the rest like that. So make sure that you master one before you proceed to the next. And I actually applied that strategy, and the thing really worked. As a matter of fact, I had an exercise book when I started. So when I started with revenue, pick a case study. So I would note the number of minutes that I spend building that revenue module. Then as I progress, maybe second day, third day, fourth day, I spend 3 days, 4 days at times on revenue, I don't know, cutting across different questions, different case studies. So I kept noting the number of minutes. At a point in time, what I used to spend like maybe 40 minutes, I got to a point I was able to do some for 12 minutes, 15 minutes. So I monitored that time. So when the exam came, I already know the time I should spend per section. Even if I miss, if I'm supposed to spend 15 minutes and I spend 16 minutes, I know I have to speed up so as to gain that 1 minute back. I know that one quite. I know maximum number of minutes I should spend per section. That's my preparation towards the examination, because that is how I actually prepared. I know number of minutes per section. That is how I did. And it worked out.
Okay, interesting. So you know the number of minutes per section. So your time went from 9 hours to 8 hours to 7 hours to 6 hours to 5 hours to 4 hours to 3 hours.
Yes, I kept on witnessing reduced time per section. And at a point, I now realized that come what may, when I build any model, no matter what, I don't spend anything. It's just between 2 hours 50 minutes or 3 hours 10 minutes maximum. Worst case scenario, 3 hours 10 minutes. I finish. And that's amazing. Confidence that I will write that October. Very confident.
Wow. So you had full confidence that you could write this exam and pass. And that was great.
Yes.
Okay, so what other stories do we have? So Oladele, what's your story, as in time-wise, and any interesting tips you want to share?
Okay, before the exam, I was writing the exam. I was writing case studies in 5 hours plus. because I was just trying to memorize a lot of steps. So this is what I'm going to. I was trying to cram a lot of steps, but since I joined the FME and a lot of things were broken down, so I did not have to cram things, but I understood everything intuitively. So when I see a case study, everything there I understand, and I became really fast with Excel. With training at FMA, I became really fast with Excel, and a lot of things I built, I could reuse everything I built. So I was not building something for one-time use. It was reusable, so I was able to duplicate a lot of things, and that helped me to speed up my time. That's in 2 hours, 30 minutes, 3 hours before the exam, I could finish up a case study and spend the remaining time just to make things beautiful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Marian, did you have a mix of both methods? I don't know, I'm sure you did, but tell me, what was your methodology?
Yeah, so for me, I think I also did the same thing that Ayorinde did. I tried to understand it working per working, right? Like module per module, all of the workings, all the schedules. I tried to understand revenues first, COGS first, taxes, working capital. I did it. So the first time I did it, I think I also used say 5-6 hours, and it didn't balance. So what I did was I made sure I could do each schedule independently. So if I could do this schedule, I move on to the next one. If I can do this schedule, I move on to the next one. So when I now did everything together, then I was not able to do it in lesser time. So, and one of the things that really helped was that that module on the mechanics of modeling. If you understand the mechanics, it will be easy for you. You have to understand the mechanics of modeling.
What module is that? Tell us about it. Mechanics of modeling. Where do you get that from?
Just like this step by step. Like I think it was after linking. It's not a step-by-step guide, but it's after the after linking the historicals. I think there's a module in the course that's it's called the mechanics of modeling. There's a module like that.
On that step-by-step guide, right?
No. I think it's in the main course.
Oh, in the main course. Okay, in the main course.
Yes, because I had watched that before I did the step-by-step guide. Yeah.
Okay. And for the main course, you're talking about the Financial Modeling Academy main course. Okay.
Yes, the main course, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So obviously, I mean, for those candidates that are using Financial Modeling Academy, there's lots of tips and tricks there that can really help you be more efficient and get this thing done and ensure that you're able to pass this exam itself. So hindsight, I mean, the exam looked difficult at the beginning to you guys, like daunting, right? And then once you now stepped in and were able to then do the exam, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't hard anymore when you were prepared. Preparation was key.
Yeah, you just have to be very prepared. Like I think one of the videos I watched, the person you interviewed in the video in the FME in the course, right? The lady from Stanbic. Okay. I think she wrote in 20. I can't remember what year she wrote.
So she's the first Nigerian to be.
She's qualified. The first Nigerian. Okay, yeah. So
Nigerian-based Nigerian to qualify.
Okay. Yes. So she said she prepared for 100 hours, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I started saying, okay, let me look at my course. My course is how many hours? So I'd watched the course. I didn't finish it, and then you kept on telling us, when it's close to the exam, forget about the course, focus on step-by-step guide. Right? So I had already watched the course, but because I kept on postponing, so towards the exam, I focused on the step-by-step guide. So I had accumulated like 100 hours, and I kept on practicing. So David will always emphasize that you practice. I remember our Saturday meetings, he would ask us, did you, maybe like they released module 1. Did you watch it? So everybody would be like, yeah, watch. And then he'll be like, did you stop and practice, or you were just watching it like a film? You know, so David always emphasized that whatever you watch, you practice. Whatever you watch, you practice. So that was one thing that I did. So a video could be 40 minutes, but I now find myself using 2 hours in a day because I'm also practicing what I'm watching. So all those practice, it's built up, everything built up. So it's practice. Like I said, you have to give up something. If you don't give up something, you won't feel prepared. So yeah.
Okay. So good. We've seen your preparation tips. Ayorinde has a preparation tip that looks like an assembly plant. You know how they make cars, assembly plant. Somebody will make this section, and somebody just making that section continuously, obviously becomes perfect at it. So use an assembly plant model to build your model, which was excellent. Just excellence, do everything on one, become perfect. Then just add all the perfection together and you finalize it. Okay, so I want everyone, tell me the toughest aspect of the exam. what's the toughest aspect of the exam?
I think sometimes it could be revenue and COGS. I think that's the aspect that I think, and that's usually the first schedule you'll be building, right? So if you can't interpret it properly, it might even give you jitters at that point. So at the beginning, the person will already start having jitters. So I think that was the toughest part. But I think for the diet I wrote, it was actually it wasn't too difficult. Maybe because I was prepared.
Who wrote a diet that it was difficult? So what Marian is saying is this section here. See this section here, that this is the most difficult part, isn't it? So I would like us, and I think I agree with you, this is one of the first most difficult parts. If you don't get this section, I can assure you, you'll not pass the exam. Because this thing ties to everything. You must get this section. So tell us your tricks, everybody. What advice do you have for people doing the sales section? That's basically the sales and cost of sales. All of them, these are together. They're always together, kind of.
Yeah.
These two sections. Huh? What advice do you have? What tricks do you have? So Oladele, do you have any ideas, any tricks?
Yes, for me, the sales and cost of sales were just one of the two for me. And the third one for me was operating working capital. But for the sales and cost of sales, what I just try to do is understand, okay, how does this business make money? And for you to get the sales, you think about the price, the price of whatever the company is selling, then the quantity of whatever the quantity sold. So once I can figure these two out from this information, then I know those are the two main important things I need to know. Then I try to put it down in Excel, because Excel is just a tool. So I just figure out, okay, what is the price and what is the quantity sold, and how does this thing grow over the years. So once I can figure all those three things out, I know, okay, that is how I'm going to build this thing. Then I try to understand the cost as well, the cost structure. Mainly, cost is broken down into two parts, the variable cost and the fixed cost. I try to understand how the cost grows, the variable cost, how does it grow, then how the fixed cost, how does it grow as well. So I just find that out from information, put that down in Excel, then I use Excel to build it. Even if I had to write it down, build it out by pen and paper, I'll still be able to build it. So I just need to find this information from here, and I think that's what everybody needs to know. How does the cost grow? How does the price, how does it change? And how does the quantity sold, how does it change?
Well, there's something about cost as well that everybody needs to understand, which is the costing technique used is cost by variability, right? So cost by variability is kind of different. Your auditors, when they put the audited accounts, they usually put cost by nature. When they put in the audited accounts, cost by nature. But when you're modeling, the best way to break down cost is by variability, isn't it? Yeah. So I would like to talk to Professor, I'm calling him Professor Ayorinde, because he has dissected every mock exam you can think of. So can you tell us, in your mock, what was the most difficult? Which one was the most difficult under the cost structure? Which one? So I'm going to let me put up the mock exams. These are all our mock exams, right? Which one did you find the most difficult, since you've done every single one, every single sales and cost? Can you remember?
Pure, I think it should be Pure Wave or so. Something Pure Wave.
Pure Wave. Okay. Who wrote this mock? I need to find out who in D Brown wrote this mock. Very wicked mock, right? Okay, so let's see. So Pure Wave. Let's see what the question was. Okay. So this is Pure Wave. And it looks very long. My goodness. No wonder. What is this? Okay, can you take us through? So Pure Wave. So let's have a look at this, everybody. So Pure Wave SIPS primary, Pure Wave SIPS, is that the name of the company? Pure Wave SIPS, okay. Pure Wave SIPS primarily earns revenue from sale of 60 cl carbonated drinks in the United States. It also supports its line of production with an auxiliary service, including the sale of waste products generated by the firm to the recycling industry to support SDG 19. Even just reading this thing alone is like, what the heck is this? Anyway, but if you practice, it won't make any difference, right? All these is stories. The most important thing here is what? 60 CL, isn't it? Carbonated drinks, right? And then there's an auxiliary service, isn't it? So this is what they sell. Okay. The company is forecasted to have production capacity of 16.5 million, right, units for the first 2 years, increasing to 17 million units and 90 million units and to 1.5 million units in year 3, 4, and 5, respectively. All right? Tell me, you are the experts. What do we do here, Marian? What's your mind thinking like when you're looking at these numbers? Can you give us tips? As the person is reading, what should they be doing?
I can't see it. Okay.
We can't see. Okay. Who can see it? Prof. Since you did this, what was the approach?
Yes. Okay, make it a bit bolder. Okay. Actually, what is as I said, it's so complex. We are very complex when I was trying to understand the exam, the case study. In that, first and foremost, it has a core and auxiliary. It has capacity again. So that you need to be able to, when you determine the selling price, then the quantity, factor in the capacity of the company, operating capacity of the company. So it's so important. Then when you, again, although the thing is a bit tiny, even the product itself, carbonated drinks, I think they are of different sizes again. One is different CL sizes. So complex sort of. You need to be able to differentiate this. But what is important, paramount at the end of the whole thing is that the bottom line of the whole thing is that one needs to come up with the selling price. Then the quantity is so important. You must be able to come up with the selling price, then the quantity, and taking cognizance of the operating capacity, the company. So you take cognizance of that one. It is when you are able to do this one, and the products are also two, sort of different CL. 60 CL, then another one.
Okay, so if we look at the breakdown of cost, so you're basically saying price and quantity, that's the most important thing.
That is what is
price and quantity. So we have Dennis online. He said he solved this problem too, this question. Very good. So if you look at the auxiliary sales, auxiliary sales were 454.something million in 2023 and are expected to grow by 2% annually. This is easy, isn't it? It's just growing by 2%. Thank goodness. No issues. This is sales. So guess what? If they're giving you sales, you don't need price, you don't need quantity. Just go with the flow, right? Is this big one at the top? Now, what about costs? Who wants to handle costs? How would you approach this kind of thing with this cost schedule?
Okay. Okay, Marian, please go ahead.
Oladele, you can go on.
Okay. Okay, so for me, looking at the cost, I know variable cost. The reason why it is called variable cost is that it increases with the quantity of goods being produced. And so when you're growing variable cost, if the variable cost grows per unit, then I need to multiply my final variable cost. I need to multiply it by the total variable cost. I need to multiply by the total quantity produced to get the overall variable cost for the year. And the fixed cost, because the fixed cost is fixed, like the maintenance cost, it doesn't depend on the quantity I produce. So I know my fixed cost needs to grow as a whole. So I need to forecast my fixed cost as a whole because it doesn't depend on the quantity produced. Then if I want to now back into my cost, I can now divide by the quantity produced to get my fixed cost per unit. But what I see, the mistake I used to make when I first started building models was I grow my fixed cost just like a variable cost. It's just like assuming every cost is a variable cost. Then at the end, my balance sheet is not balanced. I start looking but that understanding that not all costs are fixed. Variable cost depends on the quantity produced. So I grew that separately. Then fixed cost doesn't depend on the quantity produced. So that understanding alone was enough for me to handle this cost structure.
Okay. Any additional insights, Marian?
I think it's pretty much the same thing. For me, pure sips was not a problem. It was some other ones. So I even I printed them. So I had them on my table. So I just picked it up. Yeah. So I think it was those ones that had square meter per warehouse. Those are the ones that were a little bit tricky.
Those are the ones that were tricky. Okay, but let me add something to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody here, because as you're looking at the Word documents or PDF as they give you, you need to also look at the Excel. And there is dates. You need to be very careful about the dates. The dates are so tricky because if you look at this date here, is F to 2023, right? So all of these figures are based on 2023 forecast. This F means forecast, isn't it? Or is it financial? No, it's the financial year 2023. So, which means you're going to go and look at the financial statement and then know that this is the variable cost, right? And then you divide it by the total units in 2023. If you go and divide it by 2024 units or 2022 units, you just start crying after, right? So you need to identify the dates. Those dates are super important. So one important thing, anytime you see a date, you ensure you understand that that's the date for a specific thing, right? And then look at additional information. Operating costs are expected to grow at inflation. They didn't say variable cost or fixed cost. Many people read this as variable cost or fixed cost. It said operating cost. So that means whether it's variable, whether it's fixed, it's going to grow by what? Inflation.
Inflation.
Cost inflation, they give you the cost inflation figures there. SG&A is expected to be 550 million in FF2 2024. Can you see this? 550 million FF 2024. You need to look at the date because another thing here, these ones up here are all what? F 2023. Many people kind of miss those dates and they fail, right? So these are tricky stuff. So that was the most tricky one for Prof. Marian, you had a more tricky mock. What was your own mock that was the trickiest?
Yeah, it was those ones that had square meter per warehouse. I think that was like Veritas storage.
Okay, so Veritas storage. Okay, so this was the toughest one for you. Let me see if I can download the exercise file. Let me see. Mock review video. Let's see. Mock exam. Let's see. The exercise file is available. Probably not. Maybe I haven't paid. It's not available to me. Mock review. Mock exam. So yeah. So this is the exercise. So let's save this and see if we can share. So let's have a look at this one. I know it's a bit small, but let's just see. So this one looks short and nice, but you said it was dangerous. So tell us. You said Veritas dwellings had 510 warehouses in operations with a total lettable space of 5,205 square meters. Lease rentals are payable per square meter. Okay. The size of the empty ground is equivalent to 35% of the warehouse lettable space. There's empty ground. Okay. Total income from renting the grounds was 143 million in 2024 and is expected to increase by inflation. Veritas dwellings expect to add 30 warehouses in 2025, 15 in 2026, blah, blah, blah. So they're adding warehouses. Price is expected to grow by 3% annually. So what's difficult about this? Tell us.
So it was a little bit tricky. So for me, I think if it was more straightforward, like just grow it by the sales growth percentage or just selling price times unit, it would have been straightforward. But for this one, you have to get the total lettable space. You have to know how much space they have to let out. Sometimes they were capacity constrained. You thought that you have to calculate the number of houses, then they'll tell you some of those some part of the area was redundant, so they will let it out. It was a little bit complicated for me, but after I went through about 2 or 3 of them, I think I got a hang of it, and I was able to go through. Yeah.
So typical solution will look something like this. So this is a typical solution that you'd see. If I come to the inputs, you need to kind of pull out the inputs very clearly. And then your core revenue assumptions, you can see total sales, auxiliary sales, you have industry whatever you have average units, but you need to do your calculations under the particular year that they said the data was coming from. And then based on that, you then put in your assumptions and then you do your calculations. So you need to be very meticulous, isn't it? Very, very meticulous in the exam. All right. So more tips. You want to share some more tips with us? What additional tips do you have for us?
So one of the things that helped me was, like I just showed you, I printed them out. I went through all the mock. So because I didn't believe that if I just, so what happened was I was doing only Henderson and I think Transatlantic or something like that. So when it was like 3 weeks to the exam, I was like, go and check out all those other mocks. And I saw that and I started seeing different styles that the question can come. I was like, whoa. So I downloaded all and I started checking them out. So let me give an example. If I go to depreciation, let's assume I had mastered straight line method. I now checked through all the exams and I realized that, oh, sometimes they could ask for reducing balance method and I had to master reducing balance method. For example, we also need one.
Just for those that just realized that today and exam is tomorrow, what's the difference between straight line and reducing balance? Can you give us an idea of the calculation?
Yeah, for straight line method, the depreciation, it assumes uniform consumption of the assets. So it's going to be the same amount all through. But for reducing balance method, the depreciation changes every year.
How do you calculate that? You've now confused me. How will I do reducing balance?
Okay.
Calculate the 20%. Help me out.
So it's calculated on the net book value per time. So you can do it manually. So there were actually about 3 methods. There was one video where the facilitator used 3 different methods to calculate the depreciation. So I think I use double balance. You can use variable balance, variable double balance. There were like 3 methods, and you can also do it manually. If you're doing it manually, you just have to calculate the percentage on the book value per time. Okay. And if you're doing it manually, you might have to calculate for the existing assets first, then you now calculate for the new assets next. So it depends on whatever method you're using. Okay. But there are about 3 or 4 methods.
Okay, interesting. So interesting stuff. So the key there is preparation. Preparation. That's the most important thing. And if you don't prepare, then you're actually prepared to fail. So you cannot pass this without preparing. And you have to treat exam as different from modeling. Modeling in real life is a bit different from the exam. Exam is speed and accuracy. And so we've learned that one way to do it is to take every single section of your modeling and model it as many times as possible. So you get, is it memory? You get your brain and your fingers and everything is just working in sync. Yeah, and that's typically how to do it. So Marian, you already identified, okay, sales and cost were my big issue I needed to worry about. So can you tell me other things that we need to worry about? So sales and cost is big. Depreciation, you've now mentioned reducing balance and straight line. Any other peculiarities that we need to worry about?
For deferred tax asset, deferred tax liability, you have to know that it could come as deferred tax asset in the exam.
Okay. Anybody want to explain the difference to us? Or Ayorinde, do you want to try what's deferred tax asset, what's deferred tax liability? Can you just help us out?
Okay. Deferred tax liability refers to a situation whereby you have a kind of a reduction in a tax as a result of timing difference.
Timing difference.
And when we are talking about timing differences, it's just a matter of time. You are still going to pay that tax. You are paying a lower tax right now, but in the future you are liable to pay those other taxes. So the reverse is now the case when we're talking about the tax asset. It's an asset. Really, you are paying more today, so that in the future you are going to pay less. That is just the simple explanation to a layman's explanation.
Okay, so one of them is going to be a minus and one of them is going to be a plus, isn't it? So to know which one is minus and which one is plus. So we're saying that the accounting tax, what's accounting tax? Accounting tax is if your tax rate is 30%, profit before tax is 100 naira or $100. $100 times 30%, that's your tax. That's accounting tax. But then your deferred tax, you're saying, okay, that timing difference, if it's an asset, that 13 naira or $30 in tax let's assume your deferred tax was $5. If it's an asset, do you add to that 30 or you subtract?
Deferred tax, if, please come again, sir, please.
So if it's a deferred tax asset,
Yes.
and you calculated the deferred tax asset as $5, and your
Okay,
accounting tax is $30,
Yes.
what is your correct final tax?
Of course, now you had.
You had it.
You
So that means 30
sorry.
plus 5.
If it is, if the accounting tax is 30, and then you calculated the deferred tax liability to be 5, then it means you're adding up. Maybe it is an asset you deduct.
You deduct. Okay. So let me tell everybody a secret. Just learn one. Don't learn both. Learn only one. Once you learn one, if the other one comes, you know it's the opposite. But if you learn both, you will mix it up. When do you use functions to calculate preferred dividends? When do you use average functions to calculate preferred dividends? Someone is asking. Does anyone have an answer? When do you use average function to calculate preferred dividends? Anybody remember? So if you have preferred dividends, let's assume you have preferred dividend balance, right? So you have your balance of how much you own, and they said, okay, your dividends are supposed to be 5%. Now, if you use end of year balance, that means you're assuming that the preferred shareholders, that was their balance at the end of the year. If you use average, you're saying the balance has shifted over time. So we're going to take the beginning balance and the ending balance and divide it to get the average. To me, if you use any of them, it's fine in the model, as long as you give your notes and say the policy is to use ending balance. Do you get? So to me, it doesn't matter, right? Or what do you think? I don't think it matters.
No, I don't think it matters. You just have to be consistent with a particular approach. If you're using ending balance or you're using average balance, just stick to one and you'll be fine for the exam.
Yes, I think just stick to one and you'll be perfectly fine. So avoid repetition. So in your final tips, what are those big things? Or should I say, what are those mistakes you see people doing, right? Or maybe you've heard of someone that didn't pass or you are making a mistake before. What's that? Those big mistakes that you need people to avoid? Maybe one each and we can go around. Marian, which one do you think are big mistakes people should avoid?
None is coming to mind now, but there was one mistake I made in my exam. I knew I was going to pass, but it was a very avoidable mistake. I didn't know where yen was, and I was shocked. I think so. Towards the end, when I was trying to put all my units, so I think October exam, it was in yen or something like that. I think yen. So I was looking for the symbol and I couldn't find it. So that was one tiny mistake that I made. So I think.
So yen symbol. In fact, yen symbol. You now know where to get it, right? Inside symbol under home.
It just
I just went off your head, of course.
So I thought it was dollars, so I put dollars in everything. So at the end, when I was doing my final checks, and I saw that it was yen. I'm like, I started looking for yen. It was like maybe 20 minutes to submission time. I started looking for it. I didn't find it. I just did all my other checks and I submitted like that. Like I said, I knew I was going to pass because I did every other thing right. But that was like the only thing I did not do right in my exam.
So let me ask you another question.
Dollar instead of yen.
How do you know you've done everything right? You said you did everything right. How do you know? Oladele, okay, maybe let's get Oladele to answer. Oladele, how do you know I'm right? Because you guys seem to be so confident.
I think for the AFM, it's one of the exams I've written in my life that I got out of the exam. I knew I was not going to fail. And it was because of the practice. I had practiced so much. I looked at my balance sheets, my cash flow statement. My balance sheet was balanced. I looked at my income statement. Everything was good. I just knew then, because of the practice, I knew I was not going to fail.
You're super proud of yourself already. You've already given yourself AFM badge.
Yeah, I already gave myself. I wrote it on my CV before the results came out and I passed the AFM.
So tell me one big mistake people should avoid.
Okay, so the big mistake I think people should avoid, if you can just present that sample solution again. I don't know if you can present it on your screen.
Let me do that. Okay, let me do the sample solution. Hold on. Okay. All right. Tell me.
So once you see the sample solution now, you're going to be, overwhelmed. Okay, I have to build all these things again. I have the cover sheet. I have my model sheet. I have my historicals and all of those things. So you'll be overwhelmed. Oh, I have to build all these things again, and it takes time. So if you start building them from scratch again, you're going to spend most of the time you're supposed to use in building your model, to vet your model, to build all these templates again. So the mistake I think people should avoid is learn to build the templates that you can reuse. Learn to use your style guides, because you can see the green colors, the blue colors, and like, oh, okay, I need to go back and make each one blue, green. But if you know how to build the style guides, you're building something that you can always reuse for everything. So that will save you a lot of time, that even if you make mistakes in your actual computation, you can easily go back and troubleshoot and know where the mistake came from. So the mistake I see that I think people should avoid is trying to build everything from scratch again. When you get to your schedules, you want to build it from scratch again, where you can just go back to what you had built before and just copy and paste or reuse it. But if
Okay,
you don't,
so please, that is the normal life. In the exam, you need to build it from scratch. So just so you know, so we're not mixing things up. In the exam, you can't go and open a spreadsheet, copy and paste. You will fail. They will just cancel the exam.
No, I meant that once you've started your exam, your style guide, you have your title at the top. You can just go to the top, copy.
So what you mean is you highlight it
you,
and then you identify, you use the style.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
so it puts everything together. You're not opening a new spreadsheet. You're going to fail immediately because the exam is proctored.
Yes, the exam is proctored. There's AI looking at you. There's human beings looking at you. So yes, it's a pity that we didn't have our fourth speaker. I think you had internet issues. Ayorinde, what is your tip for what not to do? What is that disaster you must avoid?
Okay. It's so important that I mentioned this one, even before I talk about that big mistake that one should avoid. In addition to what earlier speakers have said. For those that will be writing exam tomorrow or very soon, and maybe you will find yourself in my shoe, what I used to experience, there are approaches that we say is very fast in continuing with the Excel worksheet provided in that exam. Just continue to build on it.
Okay, so just build from here. Don't build, just build from here, right?
And you're building from this one, yes. Some people encounter issue with getting to the middle, maybe after 1 hour, 1.5 hours, the whole workbook begin to drag. And so you have to log out of it. I faced this challenge so much. And so I want to quickly mention it for those people that are writing maybe tomorrow or very near time. So how I was able to surmount that one was that I adopted the Brown approach. I would just insert it. Of course, I've created a template which I replicate for every tab that I'm creating in the model. So I will now, this worksheet that is provided in the exam is labeled model. I rename it to be historical and I retain it. Then I
named it to be what?
Historical.
Okay.
Historical. Then I insert another worksheet, which is a template which I've created, which I replicate for all my tabs. I now name that one to the model. Then I link, I just link the historical to this model sheet now. And if you do that one, then you don't have any issue with maybe workbook is dragging in the middle of the exam, maybe after you have spent 1 hour or 2 hours, everything will start dragging such that you will have to log out.
This is a spiritual issue, obviously.
Or as many as I've kind of thing.
In the middle of the exam, then the workbook is dragging. You're like, are you okay? What the heck? Okay.
So that is, that is the approach that we have in the FME. I know the other one is very fast, and then so but fast you start you want to be fast, but in the middle you discover that everything starts dragging, and then you have to log out. So because of that one, anybody who is facing that kind of challenge, because I even read on the Financial Modeling Institute platform, some people are even facing that kind of challenge. That is how to resolve that. Once you approach that way, that's what I did. I retained historical, and I created a different and labeled model, and I will not have any challenge throughout the exam. the work will be very, very fast. No challenge with dragging. That said, when we're talking about a big problem, in addition to what big issue, problem that
mistake, that people should try and avoid. Yeah.
That we should avoid.
Yes.
In addition to what has been said to me, first and foremost, I advise anybody for examination purpose, please just stick to vertical approach. So now the issue that I see
vertical approach? What do you mean by vertical approach?
Vertical structure instead of horizontal.
Yes.
Now, okay, sir.
So let me just explain. Vertical structure means income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, all in the same sheet, and everything is below. Everything, all the calculations are below. And then you're using a very special way under your page layout, your page setup. You've already set up your page in a way to print perfectly, so that when I do a Control P on this page, you will see that it is all clean, right? That's what you mean by vertical approach, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So why recommending this one is that is faster, and then it reduces linking error. Now, the biggest mistake that I noticed while practicing for this examination is that most of the time when I finish building the model and it's in balance, because I'm an accountant, how those statements flow is not an issue for me. But most of the time, 7, 8 out of 10 times, what the culprit is actually linking error. And if you stick to this vertical approach, you minimize that error so much, because you already place your cursor in the column that you want to go. Just move page up, page down, and then you are going to avoid that. But if you begin to move tab from one tab to the other, you are likely to mislink. So the biggest mistake that I noticed, in addition to what has been said earlier, of course, I know if you are, as a professional, if you are building, you need to differentiate between your input calculations and output. If using your sales, that one is certain, because it rubbish everything that you have done. If that one is not done, it's unprofessional. But aside, a mistake that one should avoid is that linking error. It's rubbish everything that you have done. But to minimize it, seek vertical approach.
Very nice. Very nice. Vertical structure. So horizontal structure means you're coming here, you're putting P&L. Then you come here again, you put balance sheet. Then you come here again, and then you put cash flow. I really don't like horizontal structure at all. I don't. In fact, when I teach modeling, especially project finance modeling, I prefer the vertical. Everything, because I see project finance models, right, with like 20 sheets. I'm like, no way, man. I'm doing one sheet and everything. I'm doing outlines. So let me ask a question to everybody. Did you build year one first, fully, before dragging to the right? Or were you always dragging to the right? Marian?
Yeah, I built year one first, and then I dragged to the right. That's what I did.
Okay, Oladele, what did you do? Did you build fully year one, balanced everything before dragging?
No, I dragged everything to the right first.
Every time you build, you drag to the right. You build, you drag to the right.
Yes, in fact, before building everything, I already dragged all the formulas to the right. So if I just link, it's just copying directly. So build and drag to the right.
Those total formulas, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I drag to the right before completing the model.
Okay. Oh no, when you're building individual things like this, once you build it, typically this will not be there, right? Then you may just decide, you know what, I'm just going to continue building like this until I finish. I won't drag, I won't highlight and do Control R. Okay. All right. What about circular reference? You can see this link. This is a circular reference link. You always have a circular reference at the end, which you would then need to kind of put if you are using this methodology to enable iterative calculations, right? You did all of that as well. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Super stuff. Should the historical sheet be deleted? Someone is asking. So no, it's not, shouldn't be deleted. So the technique that Mr. Ayorinde was saying is that when you have a sheet like this and you want to link to the historical, so you take the historicals like this. There's one method you could do. You could do paste link, or you could just depends on the methodology, right? So if I go to the D column, I can just say equals to that historical D column like this. Was it D? D, and then I copy to the right. I don't know how you did yours, or did you just highlight the whole thing and link to the whole place, Control R, and delete.
I lighted the whole thing and then write down. Then started the
and then you deleted what you didn't need.
Exactly. That's what I did.
Okay, that works as well.
And this exercise normally takes me 12 minutes.
Oh, this dragging?
Do everything to now bring it to the shape that I want,
Isn't that too long? Doesn't that take too long? So just doing what I did now, 12 minutes. 12 minutes is very expensive.
No. What you
No, I think he's saying, he will also clean it up. Like all the extra spaces. And there are new totals.
Okay, that's what I mean. So did everybody use this technique, or is there any other technique that we should talk about?
No, I did not use this technique. I just
built
on
technique? So you just built from here?
I built from here.
You just continued building? Okay.
Yes, I continued building from here.
And that means, did you delete all of these headings and put your own, the headings that we teach, which is just one single set of headings that covers everything? Is that what you did?
No. I used this heading of
so
FMI.
That means
I just
copying and pasting it many times.
And I linked it to the first one. I only wrote it once.
Okay, so that way you deleted this one, then the middle ones you deleted them.
No. I left them.
Interesting. Okay.
I left
Marian,
them, and I just continued
to this. Okay.
No. I think I used Ayorinde's method. I linked everything into a new sheet and I just cleaned it up.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting stuff. So again, there are different techniques and stuff. Go ahead.
So because I also watched some of Ian's videos on FMI's website, right?
Yeah,
Mighty Digital. So I think I preferred your presentation because I've also taken courses with D Brown. So I'm used to your presentation. So I didn't like Ian's method was like he always it always had a heading for each
section, right? And it was
each section,
time.
yeah. So and it was taking time. So I just felt like that would take a lot of time in the exam. So I just continued with your. So this method, I didn't want all these headings anymore. Used, because my template already had years on top where we put
and then you do something. So let me show people the trick. You come to page layout, and then you come to sheet, and then you say repeat. You tell it which headings to repeat for each page, right?
Each page,
yeah.
Basically say, hey, repeat every single page on this sheet, repeat line 1 to 6 or something like that. So that automatically makes it printable. Very importantly, your model needs to be printable. Okay. So, I mean, the exam is actually an interesting exam. So what are you guys, final questions to everybody. What are you using this for? You've gone through all of this. Has it really helped your career? This whole thing. How has it helped?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna go.
Okay. Oladele,
for me.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, I was already modeling before, but I knew I was cooking beans, right? And
please explain to the audience what cooking beans means, please.
You said.
Explain to the audience what cooking beans means.
So I like first of all, I love the presentation of David's model. I've seen models that like 20 sheets. I've seen models that very colorful, blue, green, purple, yellow, orange, funny colors, and you can't tell what is what. So when I found out about FMA, and first of all, I had already known about FMI and the exam, and I learned about FAST standard because I had taken a course before this FME. So I learned about FAST standard, that they wanted, that their goal was to build an institute that models could be easily comparable, or what was that word? I can't remember. So whereby flexible, structured and transparent, So the FAST standard and everything, but they wanted it to be easy for, like, there was something you said, I think in the first time I took the course, like 2 modelers can pick up this model and know what kind of the formulas you use. You talk about nested ifs, when people use complex formulas, when people do things. So when I heard about, you said?
Instead of min and max. All those nested ifs, min we finish it and max we finish it, yes.
Yeah. So I was super interested, and I was like, okay, you have to go and perfect your modeling skills now. So that, and also before, when I get modeling gigs, sometimes I do it with other modelers, right? So I don't do it alone, so that I don't cook beans. So, but after this, I've been more confident to sell it as a service in my company. And then, David, I didn't even tell you, so I was also teaching financial projection because I became more confident. So I started teaching financial projection. And yeah, so to the bankers and everything. So it's been, so I'm earning on both ends already. I'm earning from training financial projection. I'm also earning from doing models for my clients who want to do capital raise. Yeah. So I've already
this is already a consultant, but our engineer in the house, are you earning money? Tell us the benefits of this whole stress you went through.
Okay, so before joining the FMA, I think I was just like Marian as well. I was cooking beans. In class we had we apply financial modeling to project development for upstream project development or maybe renewable project development. And when we have a case study in class, I'll just build some things and I'll pray, please, God, don't let the lecturer call me to present my model. Because I could not even explain what I had built. I just put some things there. But before I wrote the AFM exam in October, we had another case study in class, and this was even quite difficult. We had to make research on solar farm development in Morocco. We had to make research about the fiscal condition there, the economic condition, the commercial condition, and how all this will make sense. It was a group project, and I took it upon myself in that group. Okay, I'm going to be the analyst and put all of this together. And when I submitted the project, we were called. I was not even praying this time that, oh God, don't let us call. I was praying that let them call us this time. So, and the person who marked that project, he was able to understand everything I did, because now I had shifted from someone who was trying to show that, okay, I know Excel, put all those complex formulas. Now my model read like a textbook. They understood everything, all the complex thing I did, it was understood. So the ROI for me there was that I was able to move from someone who was not confident to present his technical findings and to support investment decisions. In the space of 6 months, I moved to someone who could make research about any project, from upstream projects to electricity projects, and recommend on those high-stake decisions. This is the decision we are making. And that is a very big one for me. It's a plus for me, because now, even when I'm speaking at job interviews, I told you I recently graduated. I am more confident because I know I can do this thing, and you just need to bring it, and I'll be very happy to break it down for you.
Marian, Ayorinde, and myself are jealous of you. You have just graduated with excellent skill sets. Ayorinde, what do you think? And tell us how you are using this for yourself as well. Wonderful testimonial, should I say, Oladele.
Okay, in my own case, as a practicing accountant, I audit clients' books. And then, of course, I do a lot of analytical review of these books. And that will imply, for instance, let me give a good example, something like ECL, expected credit loss. So all those things, we had do a lot of calculations there. I use, of course, I've been building models because I have to build from balance sheet, cash flow, then the income statement, to value-added statement, 5-year financial summary, and even up to task computations. We link all those things together. But I used to commit a very big sin, and that is hard coding.
How?
Hard coding, because I didn't remember. I used to that is what I used to do. And then the following year I would realize that before I won't be able to work on the model. I have to be checking those things to check the codings that I used last year. I have to work on all the software. That one always took a lot of time. So when I now attended this course, I got to know that hard coding is a sin. So now, yeah, it's a big sin. It's a big sin because you end up wasting so much time, unnecessary time. Yeah, it takes management time. So much you waste so much time on what you could have achieved in hours. You spend days, weeks, even months at times. But with this course, I've now known that I've been able to get so many things done within a very short period of time. It has saved me time so much, and my work is more professional. But beyond that one, I must mention it because the actual motive for me, coming to learn this course is beyond, because what I do presently, I want to have another channel of service line, income stream, so to say. Let me just put it that way. That is the truth. So that means I want to do financial modeling as a service to clients and as a service line to have another income stream aside what I currently do. So, and of course, no one needs to tell me that I will need international certification. And that's the reason why, that's the ultimate reason for coming to learn this thing, to learn this financial modeling skill. And I'm very grateful that to God that I learn it, and to God be the glory. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. And you learned it and you did the exam. And the key thing for everybody watching is the exams are AFM exam from the Financial Modeling Institute. The exam normally costs $725, just the exam. You still need to go find the skill first before you go and try and attempt the exam. So $725. We teach a course as well on modeling. Our own course is far higher than the exam in the sense that you learn all sorts of things you don't need for the exam. And there's some people here that you've done that our course, very detailed course, and you think you are ready for the exam. You are not. You are ready for real life modeling, yes, but if you use that skill in the exam, you will fail. I know some people, my FMI called us and said, there's some people that were just building style guide sheet. They spent 1 hour building guide sheet. Now, so please, anyone here that especially is in the FMA, in the academy, and you're doing the exam, do not write the exam if you have not done step-by-step guide. There's a course called step-by-step guide for the exam, AFM exam step-by-step guide. That will show you what are the specific things you need to do for the exam, not FMA. FMA is Financial Modeling Academy. That one is different. Do that for the exam and then do some mock exams. You can finish it today. You know you're doing the exam tomorrow. Today, do it today, finish it tonight, don't sleep, take Red Bull, and continue like that till tomorrow. But seriously, modeling is such a wonderful thing. It's an excellent skill set to have. And we thank the Financial Modeling Institute for providing a scholarship for Africa. So there's a special scholarship for Africa. It's far, far more affordable for us to do the exam, thanks to FMI and dbrown Consulting. And thanks to everybody here as well. So they're all AFMs. They want you to join, but they also want to leave AFM. My last question to you is, when are you doing CFM?
So I actually reached out, and if the academy was preparing people for CFM. So because for me, that's my own goal, CFM, because most of my clients are in real estate. So that's where I really need to master it. Yeah. So
okay, so when are you doing it? This year, next year, or you're waiting for dbrown?
I'm waiting for dbrown to do a course. You have to prepare us. So if you prepare us, then I'll write it. I don't want to study alone. I know I'll make it if I study alone, but I think just like the dbrown methodology, it always makes it easier. Yeah. Because FM mailed me and said, "Are you ready for CFM? You know, are you ready?" Yeah, they mailed me, and I was like, "Okay." So I mailed the office. I was like, "CFM."
I think
so I'm ready to write it now.
Okay. Oladele, we have Prof here, Mr. Ayorinde. Probably we should work with him to create the course. But Oladele, how far? When are you doing CFM?
I think if dbrown Consulting has a course on CFM today, I'm going to
because throwing it back to me.
David, we're waiting for you.
Because I found the FMA while I said I was cooking beans before. I was not confident, and someone on Twitter said, "Oh, my husband taught me financial modeling." I was like, "Okay, who is this husband?" Dr. Ola Brown posted. Then I was like, "Oh, David Brown." Then that already set the credibility of FMA for me. I just went ahead and registered. This person must teach me financial modeling. So dbrown Consulting has a CFM exam, a CFM preparation.
Okay. We'll promise before the end of this year you have good news.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank you.
I think I should add.
When are you doing CFM, Mr.
Ayorinde? All has been said. It's like I would rather say that you are just pulling our legs. You're supposed to have asked us question first that we do have question for you. And that's the question we would have asked you. Now you're not asking us when are we doing CFM when you have not provided the platform. So what I expecting, really, that you should have asked us. Do we have question for you? Then
Okay,
we have
do you have question for me? Do you have question?
That's the question I wanted to ask you. I prepared it already. So you are playing a fast game for us here in this case.
Okay, no. So, but seriously, I think it's overdue. It's long overdue. So
yes.
we will. So what we do is we'll break it down just like we like to do, so that it makes sense. Yeah, it looks very complex from the outside, but don't worry, we'll sort you guys out before the end of the year. Hopefully, that's my plan anyway. All right. So thanks everybody. We're wishing you the very best, very, 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 very best. Please, best wishes from each person. So we now close. People are there. There's tension. Let me even tell you one before we close. When you go into the exam, you will have small tension because it's the exam. It is okay. Don't worry. Because you are now being able to finish the exam in 3 hours or 3.5 hours, that extra 30 minutes, whatever tension is there, it's fine. All right. But Marian, do you have the last words for us? The people writing exams, what do you have to tell them?
Yeah. So just be very confident. Like you heard Oladele and Ayorinde, and also me. I said that I knew I was going to pass. And the reason why I could say that was because I knew I'd spent a lot of hours practicing. Then also make sure you have everything you need, have water. For me, I went to the restroom twice, and I think it was anxiety. I'm not sure. So, but whenever I was going to the restroom, I'll text them. Make sure you, I hope you've tried the proctoring stuff, how to set up everything. If you've done that, yeah. So if not, because you have to scan your international passport, there are some things that if you don't do them, it might take you off balance that morning. So, and yes, like David said, there will be some anxiety. Because for me, I'd written many exams, but I still had a little jitter on that day. But I knew I was going to pass. So just be confident, be bold, and just go in. And we're waiting for you. So you come and join us.
Thank you. And then they will now do a CFM. It's okay. Oladele, what is your final words to our would-be AFM holders?
So just like Marian said, the confidence that you know that you're going to pass will come from two things. One, because you have practiced, and also because you followed a structured learning pattern. And I think that's one thing, maybe not for people writing tomorrow, but for people who would like to write this exam. Don't try to go on YouTube, try to piece information together, try to get someone who has been there, done that. Just follow a structured learning. And if you commit to that learning and practice, you go to that exam, even before you write the exam, you know you're going to pass. So follow a structured learning and practice. And I promise you're going to pass as well.
Thank you. And last words from our prof, Ayorinde. Sir, what are your last words to us that are writing the FM, people that are writing it? Yeah.
Okay, the advice that I have for people that are writing tomorrow or very soon is similar to what has been said. But a few additions to that is that just be calm, really be calm. No need of feeling jiffy or jittery. Just be very calm. You haven't put in the work, then expect that you are going to get a good result. And at the end of the day, you have a lot of tabs that has been created from the cover page, summary, scenarios, and then up to model or plus or historicals, as the case may be. Ensure that all those tabs, you touch all of them. They are, make your model printable. Make sure it is printable. All those things, they are very, very necessary. It's testing your time management capability that you're able to cover all. Because whatever you are given, it is you must make your presentation in such a way that is presentable to management decision making. If you present anything to management, there's no executive comment summary. Does not make much sense. So ensure that you touch all those tabs and then ensure that you don't leave anyone out. Then above all, make sure that come what may, make sure that even if in the event of maybe you find yourself under tension, just ensure that at least when it is approaching, don't wait till the last second. Ensure that you properly save your file, upload, close, and submit. Come what may. If you don't submit it, whatever you have done is a wasted effort. So ensure that you do that one. You have practiced. You have put in the work. Of course, you are going to come out to pass in flying colors.
Thank you. And please be saving. Be saving every 5 minutes. Ctrl S, Ctrl S, Ctrl S, Ctrl S.
Please. I forgot that.
Please remember to be saving. Ctrl S. Do your Ctrl S's very much. And thanks you a lot. And anybody here that wants to become a financial modeler, please check out Financial Modeling Academy. Online, just go and check Financial Modeling Academy. And if you're based in Africa, anywhere in Africa, you are entitled to a scholarship, right? You're either entitled to a student scholarship or you're entitled to a professional scholarship. We call it professional scholarship. Student scholarship are only for undergrad students or students of professional bodies like ICANN, ACCA, CFA, and the rest. But you need to prove that you're a student, all right? So, and then for the rest of the world, including South Africa, unfortunately, you don't get the scholarship if you're in South Africa, you get the rest of the world scholarship, which is also a scholarship, but it's a bit more expensive. All right, so looking forward to seeing you next in the, maybe probably as a participant here in this kind of session and your success in EFM. So wishing you all the best. Everybody, bye-bye. Well done.
Thank you.
I thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm David Brown. I'm here to talk to you about the Financial Modeling Academy Scholarship for Africa. We're so proud to bring this to you in partnership with Financial Modeling Institute. This completely crashes the price of the wonderful Financial Modeling Academy, where you're going to learn all the different things in 8 weeks, all the different things about how you build models from scratch, valuation, also understanding how to do the exam, the cost of the exam, the cost of actually the mock exam, the cost of the exam prep guide, the cost of all the past examination reviews, the cost of the program itself, and then the general cost of the community that you're going to join to answer all your questions. All of this at a hugely discounted rate. So click here to see how you can benefit from this wonderful experience, and let's join for the next academy and the next cohort. I'll see you in the next cohort.